into the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing after shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Let me work it. Woo! I love this song, girls. I love that the Super Bowl brought this back. Woo! Missy Elliott. She's from like back in our day. I feel like the young kids don't know who she is. Now she's way up there on the iTunes charts.
That was prime.
Well, speaking of the iTunes, you guys can check us out there. Well, first of all, welcome to another Vanderpump Rules after show. Just so you know you're in the right place. But you guys can check us out on iTunes or SoundCloud. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. It is youtube.com/AfterBuzz. We love being in touch with you guys and interacting. So if you want to comment there, you want to rate us 5 stars on iTunes, you want to tweet us, we love it all. My name is Megan Stecher. I'm your host tonight, and you guys can tweet me at Megan Stecher, and I am joined by my lovely co-hosts.
Hey everyone, I'm Christy Olson. Let me know what you think also. It's at Christy Reports.
And I'm Fern Ronay. You can find me at Fern Ronay.
Oh my gosh. Great. I have you, girls.
Tweet us up, people. Tweet us up.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Argue with us. Tell us how wrong we are.
I know, right?
We love
it. So tonight's episode, we're at season 3. We're winding up to the end here. Episode 14, Judgment Day.
Dun dun dun.
So speaking of the
Ding
person,
dong, the witch is dead.
Ooh.
So pretty much we think that the title is about Kristen being judged, correct? Finally having her judgment day.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, it starts out with Kristen so happy-go-lucky at the pool party, just kind of boozing it up and kissing
I'm screwing
James.
the DJ.
Yeah.
Doing her Kristen thing.
I didn't love that comment. How did you feel about screwing the DJ?
And then the bartender said something, right? Didn't she say
Well,
that?
the guy at the door, I guess the bouncer said, screw the DJ.
Right.
And she said, I do.
So clever, that one. I mean, it's no worse than anything else she's ever said.
That's
Right? It's true.
It's probably the most clever thing she's ever said.
Right? Well, all the trouble in the episode gets started with Kristen looking through Jax's phone. Jax was a fool enough to say, go ahead and look through my phone to Carmen. And Carmen's like, no, that's okay, I won't. Trying to be the cool girl. And Kristen says, I will. And of course starts going through it. And the first text she finds, she's saying, I uncovered these texts that Schwartz had sex with a girl in Vegas. Now, do you guys think, was it made clear that she was reading texts between Schwartz and Jax? I kind of was a little confused about who these texts were
They
with.
seem to imply that they were texts from the girl.
Okay.
To Jax.
To Jax.
Somehow, revealing that they had done more than just make out.
Yeah, and that her and Tom had agreed to say that they had only made out.
Okay.
So maybe this was like the shout out to Jax to be like, hey, keep your mouth closed. We just made out.
Okay.
Right. But do you think it was staged? I always wonder.
Oh my God, that smile on his face.
Like,
when it happened,
Carmen
like
was
he
in on it
can't-
too. Like, this is the part where he passes the phone to Kristen, and Kristen pretend. I mean, like, do you think it really happened?
I don't know. I just feel like how is Jax constantly in these situations? Mm-hmm. And like of all people in the world, like Jax, you do not hand your phone over to someone. You are dumb for doing that.
The number one. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And Jax should be a journalist at this point. He loves to have this information and be in control of when it reaches everyone. And I think that's kind of part of what this was.
That's so true.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Because
so
he was
true.
grinning. He was kind of loving it.
Because this entire season with Jax has really revolved around him tattling on the boys.
Yeah, so
right?
even if Carmen and Kristen weren't in on it, Jax is like, I'm giving my phone to someone because this girl just texted me and I want someone to know. Mm-hmm. Okay.
He's ready to
Unreal.
breaking bro code all over the place, that one.
Yeah.
I just, like, why is he texting with the girl? Like, why does he have this girl's phone number? It's one thing that they all have cheated on all these trips. It's another
They
that
should
they
never
have
leave LA.
They have all the phone numbers in their phones and continue contacting these girls. Like, idiots.
This is supposedly one of Tiffany's friends.
Okay.
Oh,
But-
that's right.
Yeah.
Still, why would he have
I'm
her phone
literally
numbers?
Because she's got to tell him to shut his trap. She doesn't want to look like a slutty slut either.
I'm literally having a hard time of keeping up with like who cheated on what trip and who hasn't been told on yet and what's still under the carpet that has not been.
Vegas,
What do we
Miami, they should
know?
never leave LA County.
No, no.
They really
Bad
shouldn't.
things happen.
Because their girlfriends at least live in LA County.
Right.
Yeah, we know that Katie was sitting at home alone on the couch while Tom was out, whatever he was doing with this other girl. So,
Right.
Okay, so I have a question for you girls. If your boyfriend took you aside while you were all out with your friends and decided to tell you something he's been lying about, would you have remained that calm?
I would like to hope that my husband would have more sense than that to know that I'm going to freak out, but I'm kind of a freaker outer. So that would not have gone the same way if it was me. No, not at all. It was desperation. He needed to get to her and tell his little story before anybody else could.
Right. She was eerily calm. And did you watch the last call on Bravo TV?
Yes.
It might have been on Watch What Happens Live. I can't remember. But she said that she remains calm even when the cameras went off. That she just, had that time to let it absorb, and then she didn't go crazy. I don't know.
Yeah. I think
How
that
could
was
you
from
not?
last call because I
Okay.
didn't see that, but I watched all of what happened.
Okay.
Watch What Happens Live.
Okay. So she
wow.
said she was. I don't know how. I would go nuts.
I
I can't picture my. Like, you're married now, so you can't picture your husband doing that because you're in a stable relationship. But some of the idiots I dated in my 20s,
Right.
who I didn't trust anyway, you kind of
Right.
had that. If they had done that, I would have gone ballistic. I don't know how she remained so calm.
I don't either,
Yeah.
because I've freaked out on my boyfriend before for stuff like that. Well, we have been together for a long time now, and it's a completely different relationship. But in the beginning, we were definitely like a way more casual couple, and I think I started taking it seriously before he did. So there were definite times when I was like freaking out on him for not trusting him or thinking that he was doing something he shouldn't have been. And like for that to be her boyfriend that she wants to marry, and they are definitely in a later stage of the relationship where it's been a completely monogamous situation for a long time. Oh my God, I would have ripped his head off.
Nuts. In front of the cameras, no less. Plus, in front of, he made a fool of her in front of this whole group of friends. There's so many elements to it, let alone the fact that he cheated on her. Like, there's so many things to be mad about.
I know.
Yeah, and if that was me, I would have gone back to the table and said, oh, you know what? Sorry, guys. Sorry to bust up the evening, but I have to go home and scream at my boyfriend now.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, you don't necessarily have to make a big scene at the restaurant, but then when you hit that street or you get in that car, you tell him what's up. And we would have seen that if she did.
And eat and like have the
They just went back and had their drinks.
It's
No biggie.
almost like one
She
of
should have
those.
flipped the table like Teresa. She should have taken a page from another Bravo show.
At least ripped his head off when they got home. I mean, the cameras follow them into the apartment. They each take a couch facing each other, and then we watch the most awkward
conversation ever.
least passionate argument I've ever seen. It's just awkward with them. Like, I thought they had this whole new beginning, and they're like sleeping together again, and everything's exciting, and then it's like this weird non-argument. It's like an argument that got a wet blanket thrown on it, and it was just a conversation almost.
It was a little passive aggressive because he said something about motorboating in D.
Yes, and that seemed to maybe that's what sort of shut her up. She doesn't want him pursuing that avenue or asking more questions about that.
So maybe he
in his
thinks
defense.
that happened. Like maybe he never believed her, and he let her have a pass. You know what I mean?
Right.
And he kind of excuses his own behavior because of her indiscretions of motorboating a D. I mean, is that what you guys think? Yeah.
I thought she was afraid he was going to go there more, so she tried to not say too much. And then, okay, I'm going to go to bed now.
Yeah.
I just think they have a strange, not real relation. I don't know what it is.
Impassionate?
Yes.
There's something like missing.
Impassionate's
Whereas, like,
a great
we'll
word.
get to Tom and Ariana, but I feel like they have there's some foundation there, and
see
that's
some
why
chemistry.
they can get through. Maybe they're solid, but these two, I feel like they're not. I feel like they're
Like
not even
neither
in
one
a
of them could really care
relationship.
less, right?
It's like there's no there. I don't
The
see
only
it.
time I've seen passion between them is when Schwartz dumped a beer on her head.
Yes.
Was that last season? It was last season. Oh my God.
Well, you know what kind of struck me too is that he was coming to her right away and he said, "Oh, I was going to tell you at this time and I was going to tell you at this time and it's really been eating away at me and da-da-da-da." And that was just so transparent. Like, why do you even try to make her or anyone else believe that you were going to tell her if you hadn't have had to?
Right.
Come on.
I would have kicked him in his D. Anyway. I mean, isn't it creepy that last week we saw Tom Sandoval jet out away from his problems, but call Ariana right away trying to intervene and get away with it by telling her a lie. And it seems like the same thing this week. It's like, oh, hey, Kristen knows, FYI. So Schwartz has to run into, Schwartz has to go into panic mode and tell Katie about his indiscretions. And I don't know, it's kind of weird how everything's coming out.
Maybe she didn't want to try to run out of there because she was afraid she wouldn't be able to find the door handle.
Oh,
good point.
Where is that? I want to go there.
I know I've seen it on TV before. I've not been there.
Have you? Okay.
You're a little bit more
I'm
a woman about town. You know these hot spots,
No,
I think.
I'm way out in Santa Monica. I never get out to these cool spots in Hollywood and West Hollywood. I'm so not that girl. I wish I was that girl.
So commenters, tell us if you know.
Yeah, tell us where this place is. We'll try to get in.
It's probably right in WeHo or something. Anywho, all right. So the fallout is Katie. Okay, my favorite thing she said to him was, how'd she put it? Oh, he said, "I'm going to make it up to you," and she said, "I'm still waiting to be swept off my feet." Because of the last little making out incident. I mean, do you guys think he just made out or do you think he had sex with this Vegas situation?
I think this Vegas situation is a lot deeper than we know.
Okay.
And he even tried to play it off later. I told her we hooked up. He's trying to get off on all this with semantics. Like, yeah, we just made out and maybe there was some heavy petting and maybe, I mean, he thinks he's going to get off on a technicality with all of this.
Was touchy-feely.
Right. Well, last night on Watch What Happens Live, Katie tried to, Schwartz was so awkward the whole episode.
Yeah,
and
we'll get to that.
Yeah. She was trying to, I guess, cover for him when he was having trouble finding the words. And she's like, "Oh, no, I mean, it was in public. So, like, yeah, it was just making out."
Maybe that part was in public. You don't know what happened
True.
later.
There you go.
He had alluded to Jax in another episode before this, couple episodes ago. Did you tell her that we spent the whole night together or that we were out together all night? He made some reference to being with this girl all night long. And that would have been my first question, as if I were Katie, was, so where was this happening? You know, if this was in the middle of a party, that's a little bit different situation than, yeah, if you really went off alone and you just made out. I don't think so.
Exactly.
And it was weird that she didn't start. I mean, the first thing I would have done was peppering him with a million
Yes.
questions. Like, what happened? Where were you? What really happened? Did you sleep with her? Right.
Right.
Show me a picture.
How did this happen? I don't know why she remained so calm.
No, it was so weird.
Doesn't it kind of make you suspicious of her? Like going back to the motorboat and a D thing.
Yeah.
She did
Maybe
sort of
there's
make a
more to
point
it.
to say, I don't do that when I'm questioning the relationship, but that should have been a bigger point on her behalf.
Yeah.
And she didn't make it very strongly. So it makes me suspicious a little bit.
Yeah. I agree.
Maybe they feel like they're even now. They were cute on Watch What Happens Live. Did you think?
No. I felt like it was so awkward. Christy has a really, let's just talk about it now. Christy
I have
has
a theory.
really good
Do
theory.
we remember when Kristen and other Tom Sandoval were on Watch What Happens Live and we found out later that they had long broken up and that he was with Ariana at that time and they were pretending to be lovey-dovey and hating on Ariana? I really felt last night, yes, girl, yes. And I really felt last night, legs crossed away from each other. Some of the stuff was a little bit forced. I thought, there's no way these two are together anymore.
Really?
But then she looked all knocked up. And who would have knocked her up?
She did, but I thought her
Good
hair and her
point.
makeup, and she was glowing, and she looked great, and he's always adorable. And I was like, there was some kind of,
it was
they were
weird,
cute with each
right?
other, kind of answering each other. I guess it was a little weird. But now that, because the body language was a little...
Yeah, you've lost all credibility with me. Watch What Happens Live after I learned about that Tom and Kristen thing. Fooled. Sorry, Andy Cohen.
And the weird thing was, he said, well, is there an ultimatum for how long, and until you're going to walk if you haven't gotten a ring? And she said, yes. She didn't let us know what the timeline was, but she said, yes, there's definitely a timeline.
He knows, yeah.
So if they are broken up, I wonder if it's because of that or if they are just having to play this up for the cameras until they're allowed to talk about being broken up.
And maybe they're with completely different people.
That could
Who
be.
knows?
We know they like to move on quick, this bunch.
They do.
I have to say, I've fallen off the wagon of constantly following those two on Instagram because I was, and there were so many million lovey-dovey pictures of them in the beginning of the season. Kind of like, we're still together, everything's fine. You're going to see all this awful stuff about our relationship, but like, we're still together. And they were constantly posting pictures of them like taking these weekend vacations, and all of a sudden I haven't seen all of that, but I also haven't been checking up on it as much as I was.
Yeah. Maybe we have to do an investigation.
The jury is out. Final word, the jury is out on this whole situation.
I love what they did with her and Stassi. Like, Stassi's so not on the show anymore. But
I know. Oh my God. Okay, can we talk about this? I think Stassi's long gone.
Yes.
And like, it's a silent, like, we'll see her at the reunion, but like, she's done.
I don't even know if that.
I don't know.
Well, she has to be at the reunion. Whether or not they bring her out just for a little bit, but I think she's 100%
she probably is
gone.
Contractually obligated to do that.
That's why.
Right about
that's
that.
why.
Yeah.
But there's nothing to talk with her about. So, I mean, she might not be out there for the whole. You know how sometimes they just, on the Housewives, they just bring some people out who are like the friends.
Yeah, and they've even did that with Ariana in the past.
Yes. So because Stassi was such a no-show as far as having any storylines.
Maybe they'll talk about her and Katie breaking up their friendship. Because last night she said, you know, she has no control over me. She's her own person now. And it was funny to see on Watch What Happens Live, the flashback of her being her little sidekick to now. She's really emancipated herself from
I love that. How they did like her face over Mariah Carey's old...
Kiki.
Oh my God, that was so funny. And she's like, a girl can only take so much. Bye.
Yeah.
Well, real quick about her looking pregnant, I was referring to the boob situation, and also
her legs looked great. Her hair looked
legs
great.
did look great, and also it looked like the kind of dress that you wear when you're trying to hide something in the middle. You know, it was like a wrap dress, which is really kind of old style. She looked fantastic, and not that she's gained a ton of weight or anything, but there was just something about a little bit of fullness here and there.
Yeah, it was like
and people questioned her. People asked her on Twitter, "This isn't just me being mean, you guys."
I know,
and she said she's not, but I have yet to be convinced.
There was something strange to me about her posture in that chair. And I don't know if she was uncomfortable in that chair or if she was purposefully sitting a certain way to hide something. It just looked awkward to me. Like she could have been pregnant, slightly pregnant and trying to hide it. But I immediately, it was like the boobs, I think, that made me think she looks a little preggo. And then I saw a comment on Instagram, it was Instagram or Twitter, where she said like, thank God for push-up bras. It was a picture of herself. Her hair and makeup people took pictures of her and she posted it of herself and she were like, thank God for a push-up bra or something.
So she was trying to cover early is what I would read that as. And speaking of the bra was hanging out by the end.
Yeah, it was
like
pink,
girl
right?
couldn't even contain like whatever the dress was, it wasn't quite right for that situation.
Broad. I was like, cover that up.
Whoopsie.
It's all denials until there's a baby named right?
So true. All right, I'm ready to
No wonder she doesn't want to come on this show.
No. Sorry, guys.
Oh, come on. We'll have a baby shower
We
for
love you.
We thought you looked beautiful.
Yeah, it looked
just
fantastic.
a little preggers.
Just
no biggie.
Just a little pregnant. Okay, I'm ready to put this whole thing together.
Yeah, right. Sorry. Moving on.
We'll set up a registry.
Moving on.
We'll have a baby shower.
The jury's out on this too.
AfterBuzz TV would love to throw you a baby shower.
So let's get to Judgment Day.
Dun, dun, dun.
Kristen has to face the music about her whole situation of dragging Anne Marie in to confront Tom Sandoval and her little, I want to call it something bad, I can't curse, her tantrum to her manager, Diana. So she, hilariously enough, is going into work thinking like, no big deal. It looks like she's been off for a couple days in a row. And she's just rolling back in like, I wonder if anybody will say anything to me about it. Like, no big deal.
She said in a blog or something that I read, though, that once she saw that Natalie and Guillermo and Diana were all there with Lisa and Ken, then she sort of thought like, what's up?
I saw that too on the, is it called the after party? The videos
they call
on
it the after show, but like then they call it the last call.
Oh, last call. Yeah. Okay, last call.
And
so
she said she knew at that point.
Yeah. So if you guys haven't seen these videos on Bravo, it's pretty cool. They're hosted sit downs with one person or couples who are together about what's just happened on the latest episode. And they're about 2 to 3 minutes. So they're fun little bite-sized, like inside, behind the scenes of like what they were really thinking, extra stuff that happened, blah, blah, blah. Check it out on BravoTV.com if you haven't seen those.
But we're the best after show.
Yeah, right.
I know, obviously.
And then come here and watch us.
And then come talk
Supplement.
about what you really want to talk about. We'll talk about the truth.
Yeah, right? That's just what they're trying to feed you.
Yeah,
Exactly.
true. So whenever we reference the last call, that's what we're talking about. So yes, Kristen did mention like, oh, I knew I was in trouble when they asked me to go sit down and I saw everybody lined up. I thought it was classy of Lisa to excuse. I know I'm always like picking on Lisa Vanderpump for something. I thought it was very classy of her to excuse the men so that she didn't feel like firing squad against me.
Right. She still felt that way, but she said later, but
Yeah.
at least there were not more of them on the other side of the table.
Right.
Yeah,
Like,
and that was more consideration than Kristen deserved at that
Yes.
point.
Yeah.
Completely.
I'm sorry I keep clearing my throat, everyone. Sorry, I've had a cold this
okay.
week and I keep like, sorry to the listeners.
You sound
I'm sure,
good to me, girl.
I'm sure it sounds like nails on a chalkboard to them. I'm going to take a sip of water here.
Well, Kristen walked into that room with her bee on.
Oh, yeah.
She
Well, you know,
did
they
not
told
go
her-
cowering in there.
She brought her purse in with her, being ready. It's kind of like when you're thinking at work you're going to get fired and you have a box packed already or something. Like, it was like that. And I don't know if they told her to bring her purse with her or she knew something was up. And
She figured at
just-
least she was getting suspended, right? Which would happen immediately.
Yeah, that was crazy. Well, okay, were you guys surprised at all that she wouldn't take any responsibility or not at all?
Yes, shocked. I thought at least she would apologize to Diana. And according to her, she did take responsibility and she did apologize and it just didn't make the cut. But yeah, I didn't see
the way
anything
they edited
there.
it, the poor girl might never, I don't know if she has another job now, because if you want to ever work again, apologize, show some maturity if you would like to get another job.
Yeah.
And she was so arrogant.
Even
it was
just
unbelievable.
on a human level. And
Yes,
apparently her and
yes,
Diana
yeah.
are close. I think they're friends outside of work. And she couldn't say to her, like, I'm sorry.
Exactly.
Right.
Even on a non-professional level, I'm sorry I screamed at you. You know,
Right.
it was the heat of the moment.
Right.
Something.
I'm wondering if Kristen was coming at this whole situation as, well, in her mind that she kind of had nothing to do with it, because maybe production did arrange for this young woman to be and pay for her to fly out there, and they were like, we've got it all set up, we've got the cameras already, she's gonna come confront Tom at work. So maybe in her mind that's why she was like, I had nothing to do with this. But I mean, obviously there's no excuse for being that drunk, screaming at your manager. It does not matter that you were there as a guest. First of all, I am not a believer in working at a restaurant and coming in as a guest, because nothing good's gonna happen. You're gonna go there to drink alcohol and relax, and that's, I mean, if you had a regular 9-to-5 job where they don't serve alcohol, you wouldn't go in there and be
To
drunk.
hang out.
Yes.
Right.
So it's not a good idea to do that.
I have seen many people get fired for the way that they act who work in restaurants.
Right.
Having worked in a lot of restaurants, unfortunately, myself, a lot of people who come in and drink and get fired for the way that they act, or
Right.
even the way that they act when they go to other restaurants. Just like Lisa always says, you can't go anywhere else and act that way either. Why would you come into your own restaurant and yell and scream on the patio?
Right.
Exactly.
It just shows these kids have been getting away with murder for a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, like, constantly getting away with drinking on the job is kind of crazy.
But she
crazy.
did have lunch with this girl beforehand. She did, like, you know, she can't act like she wasn't involved whatsoever.
Right. She had been boozing it up all day.
Right,
They shared a
right.
bottle of wine to start the day off.
They polished off a bottle of wine.
Right.
So God knows how much alcohol was involved.
And then
I
didn't
mean,
she text to see if Tom was there, make sure he was working?
Oh, yeah.
You know,
And then she went in and got herself a ringside seat
yes.
right before it all
With
went
her
down.
friend, yeah.
popping the pot, like they said. Kristen was there with her bag of popcorn, like,
Oh, they
oh,
said that in the last call, too. She was like, I wish I had popcorn because I was enjoying, you know, she says one thing and then she says something else. She was
That's true.
enjoying it. She wished she had, you know, popcorn while she was watching it, and then she said I had nothing to do with it.
Although I bet popcorn would have tasted disgusting with that sugary pink Cosmo thing they were drinking. Right.
yeah. So, okay, so we're not, okay, you guys were surprised that Kristen acted that way. I kind of wasn't at all surprised that she didn't take any responsibility.
You
Well,
weren't?
I also think that Lisa didn't intend to fire her. I don't think Lisa went
I
there
don't
with it in
either.
her mind that she was going to fire her.
Lisa was
But based on
shocked.
Kristen's behavior, that's what made her do it. I really think Kristen could have gotten off on this again with a suspension.
So do I. And I think she was shocked that Kristen didn't even say, like, okay, Diana, I'm sorry for what I said to you, but I'm not sorry that girl came here. And I think Lisa would have let her off with that.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
crazy to me that she took zero responsibility.
Zero. And I don't believe that it's because of editing, because as she was walking out, Lisa said, I'm apologizing on her behalf.
Yeah.
So she obviously didn't apologize before that.
Right.
So I don't
And
believe
Lisa
it was
wouldn't
editing.
have fired her, I don't think.
Right,
She would
yeah.
have apologized.
Even though she had that folder that was supposedly chock full of complaints against.
How funny was
Can
that?
you imagine
She has, like,
how thick that thing was?
She has a cute pink folder which is her employees' files. Like, obviously it's pink.
Of course.
Love you, Lisa.
Yeah. So you really don't think she was? I don't know. I think don't you think they would have made the decision before as a group, or it's just Lisa's final decision?
I think it's probably is just Lisa's, and maybe Natalie and Diana had already given their input, like, hey, we told you to fire this girl a long time ago.
Yeah. And maybe Lisa and Natalie, because they are both owners, co-owners. Maybe to both of them talked about it beforehand, maybe. And it was a decision of, well, we'll see what she says, and then we'll decide.
And maybe they never fired her before because she was on the show, but now Stassi's on the show. She doesn't work there, so she set a precedent.
That's true. I mean, Kristen could probably, if she continues to be the way she is. I don't know. The problem is no one wants to hang out with her. So if they move forward into a 4th season, I don't know how they would roll her into things.
Right.
And considering like how Stassi, it's been so forced, and now I'm pretty sure she's not on the show anymore for the rest of the season.
Oh yeah, you don't think so?
I don't.
She won't come back to yell at Katie for something else.
No,
I don't think so.
And she's trying to act like she made some interview this week where she said, "Oh, I'm over reality. I would never do another reality show." She's trying to act like she's over it.
Yeah.
But she's unnecessary at this point.
Yeah.
And a quick little note about Natalie. She's one of the co-owners with Lisa of SUR, and she doesn't let these kids get away with a whole lot. I've been there when the cameras are not rolling, and she is really running the show. And I have had to ask, Jackson, Stassi, and different cast members, like, will you come outside? Can we do an interview? And the response has always been, oh, I have to ask Natalie first. So she's probably not quite the pushover that maybe the other management is. And so I'm kind of surprised that she didn't just say, hey, you know what? I'm telling you, she's fine. And maybe she did, but I think she probably, her suggestion, I'm sure, was that she wanted Kristen out of there.
Yeah, definitely. She strikes me as a day-to-day person whose real job it really is to be there and check in on things, whereas Lisa has a packed schedule with many different things going on, and she pops in for the sake of the show, in my mind, is what's going on. Yeah. Listeners, let us know.
She has other
tweet me and let me know what you think at Megan Stecher.
She certainly has other endeavors, because I noticed that lunch that they had with just the family for Ken's birthday, the ice bucket was from her pop culture living line.
Oh, cute.
I noticed it. I was like, oh, I love that. And then I remembered. Yeah, so I tweeted her, but she didn't tweet me back.
Oh. I saw she's in a new jewelry line too. I think via Bravo Dish.
Yes.
Well, let's roll into news and gossip, because I'm so over what happened in the show. That was it.
Bye, Chris.
That was pretty much. We had to suffer through a scene with Katie and Christina, but then it was over. So on to Lisa's jewelry line. Yes.
Real jewels are fake. Can I afford them or not?
Well, she's putting taking Stassi to task with Stassi's little necklace line. So it's going to be called Vanderpump Estate Jewelry Collection.
Oh, that's a great name.
Right?
That is a great name.
If you're a Lisa fan, that's a great name for something you'd want to get from her. That's good.
It'll be launched very soon around Valentine's Day. And it is an offshoot of another brand, of course, but Lisa has designed the jewelry. So that should be good.
That should be good.
Yeah, no word on if the price line is something we'll actually be able to afford.
Well, the ice bucket I can't afford. It's $220.
Oh my God. What else does she have in that pop living?
I think the whole table, which was really decorated beautifully. I think it was all from there.
So
but I noticed the ice bucket.
Like a hostessing kit situation.
Well, those plates and the chargers were, oh my gosh.
Beautiful. They were gray with the rhinestones. Yeah.
And while we brought up that scene real quick, can I just say, we still haven't met Max's older girlfriend. I can't remember if it was on Housewives or Vanderpump Rules.
Nothing
he referred to she's like 36 or something. She's in her 30s. Max is 20 something, early 20s.
Yeah.
And he came all dressed up in a suit. It was Ken's birthday. And I sort of thought, oh, maybe the girlfriend's coming, and we still haven't seen her.
Yeah, she didn't show up on Beverly Hills Housewives when Lisa was discussing that same woman as well. She was a no-show, so I think she's a little camera shy. But that's
maybe
nice.
She's hanging out with Stassi's boyfriend, who also
who also doesn't have anything to do with it.
Speaking of, I heard somewhere Peter mentioned that he's like, Stassi won't stop saying how she's so grown up, and her boyfriend's such a grown up, and this, that, and the other. And he's like, honestly, from what I've heard, her boyfriend's just like Frank, and Frank's just like Jax. Like, she has a type. So stop thinking your boyfriend's so cool. So just a little. That's via Peter.
Yeah, well, she needs to keep the boyfriend, keep the apartment and everything. We know she doesn't do anything
Obviously.
else.
And Kristen needs to stay with James in order to be on the show now.
That's her only lifeline to the show.
That's a good point.
Well, everyone might be wondering what she is up to now that she isn't working at SUR. And Kristen has announced that she is doing a t-shirt line. Graphic t-shirts, they will apparently be for women of all sizes because, she knows how to relate to the big girls or whatever. It's going to be called James May, which you may think is a reference to James, her boyfriend, but is actually a reference to her niece and nephew, James May. So that would be the niece and nephew whose life she bet on that she didn't have sex with Jax a couple seasons ago. Remember? And she was like, I swear on my niece and nephews. So apparently...
I forgot she said that.
Maybe this is her way of...
This is her, I'm sorry,
trying to get back in. Yeah.
So is it her sister's kids or brother's kids? Whoever it is, it's like her apology to her
Exactly.
sibling.
Yeah, right? So look out for the James May clothing line. She also says she will be doing a vegetarian blog because there's not enough of those around.
Right, and they make so much money.
Right?
Oh, that's a good point.
And made the reference while announcing that the only reason why the cooks in this episode were so excited that she was fired was because they were sick of her picky vegetarian requests.
I love that
which I'm
scene.
sure is the truth.
Let's talk about the celebrations over
That was
Kristen's
adorable.
firing because that was the best part of the episode.
It really was.
Yes, and that was not forced. There's no way they told them to do that. They were
way.
like in their Spanish, in the kitchen,
Yep.
like, heck yeah, dude.
Hilarious.
That was so cute.
What did you guys think of everybody's little the dance montage of everyone being excited?
It was great. And then Jax is just slow clapping.
Yeah.
I know, I kind of love that.
He was the grand finale. I don't know. Ariana is always shaking her butt so skanky style, and she's such a like non-skank.
moves.
Usually,
I know.
that like when she starts busting out the moves, I'm like, girl, dang.
Yeah, on the boat she
the
did.
video
right,
of her on the boat
Yeah.
in that teeny weeny bikini of him pouring like Chardonnay, dollar store Chardonnay over her.
Right, we had no
I was
idea.
like, this for being like the cool girl. She's got
knows
the
how to
moves.
twerk it up. Yeah.
She does. Well, she is friends with Scheana, and Scheana is like a little booty shaker girl. So
That's true. Yeah, well, that was a cute little moment of them celebrating.
Yeah.
That was funny. Yeah.
They may also be celebrating. We were saying this earlier that we can't believe that these women let their men out of LA. Well, on February 21st, Tom and Jax have an appearance at a club in Atlantic City. So get ready to read those tabloid reports of who they effed in there. That will be coming up in a couple weeks.
Because only good things happen in Atlantic City.
Oh my god.
Nothing trashy ever goes down
The
in
worst,
Jersey.
Never.
the worst things I've ever done and the craziest nights I've ever have happened. I'm an East Coast girl, so Atlantic City was our stop, and they've all happened in Atlantic City. FYI, and they're going to be so darn far away from home. Girlfriends,
This is
buy
season 4 right here.
Girlfriends, you
Yeah.
need to buy your tickets right now. Katie, Ariana, if you're still together with Schwartz, Ariana, you book your tickets now. Whoever's dating Jax, book your tickets now.
Well, it is just Tom and Jax, Tom Sandoval and Jax that are being
okay.
billed for this. So that also made me wonder if Tom Schwartz isn't allowed to go out anymore, if they're still together. And just one other little blurby, that Jax will be on Watch What Happens Live on March 2nd, and he will be appearing with Gigi from Shaws of Sunset, which all you hardcore Bravo fans will remember, they had a little flingy thingy last year or sometime not too long right after he and Stassi were finally done.
That's right.
So it'll be interesting to see their interaction together because I know they run into each other a lot out and about in Hollywood. And I don't know if they're cool or not. So
that's an excellent booking. Way to go, Watch What Happens Live booker.
Good matchup.
no
yeah.
surprise though. They know what they're doing.
I love
That was a good one.
this Bravo incestuous. I love it. God, I love
Andy
it.
Cohen's just running all of our lives.
He
We
really
would all be
is.
so unentertained without him.
He really is.
Well, a funny little thing about him. Oh, you know what? We'll save that for Housewives. Never mind. Watch our Housewives show a little bit later, people.
I love that teaser.
right?
Hashtag stay tuned. Fern, do you have anything fun to share? No.
No, but I just wanted to recap on Watch What Happens Live. The Do You Believe Tom?
Yes. Go ahead. Go ahead.
76% said no.
I mean, no, none of the viewers believe them.
Yeah.
I mean, Katie seemed pretty settled in like, he said,
That's
how do
what
you
I
feel
thought,
about
yeah.
that to her? And she's like, yeah, whatever. Like, our whole relationship takes place behind the scenes. You're just seeing a tiny little bit of like some on-camera drama and whatever.
Something she maybe should worry about is that Lisa Vanderpump has come out and said she doesn't believe that that's all that happened with Tom Schwartz.
Right.
And remember,
Which
she
she
was
also
giving her
said
opinion about Tom Sandoval.
Sandoval.
Also,
Right.
she is older and wiser, and she knows these guys pretty well, too. I would take her opinion, of course, over a bunch of viewers that you don't know, but that should be one that's valuable to her.
Well, here's the thing with people telling you that your boyfriend has cheated or stuff like that, it's like you don't want to believe it because you were happy up until that moment. So unless you're willing, unless in the back of your mind you're like, yeah, okay, this relationship can be over, I'm ready to accept that, like, you don't accept it.
Right.
So that's what's going on here with these girls.
And Katie's so desperate to get him down the aisle that it seems like maybe she's just like, you know what, don't tell me anymore. I don't want to know.
How she slipped up and said marriage instead of relationship when she was talking to Christina. She said, I want to see your commitment to this marriage. And then she starts laughing. She's like, I mean your commitment to this relationship. Like, she's so stuck on getting married. She's like, oh, I finally found the guy. I've been with him for 4 years. This has to be the guy.
She's just hanging on.
I get it. I get it. I feel so bad. Like, I want this to work.
Yeah,
they're cute. They're cute together.
I thought they were cute on Watch What Happens Live. Now I have a whole. You've enlightened me.
Now we've made you doubt it. He was super awkward. I feel like he was so nervous the whole time because he was super awkward. And he's usually just like a sweet, laid-back guy.
He's very charming.
Yeah.
Though, I feel like, and that's what makes me think that he knows, I think, that he could go out and get a ton of other chicks. And she's okay with this weird relationship. And he's just so, I don't know, he's just so charming.
He's a cutie.
Yeah, it makes me worry. Makes me wonder.
He goes out and gets pissy on the Chrissy, and then... How funny was that when Kristen said that? I thought that was hilarious. She's like, it's my retirement party. I love that.
And then admitted that it was barefoot bubbly or whatever the cheap stuff is. It was not Crystal.
Don't knock it till you tried it. I'm a girl. I'll drink anything cheap and bubbly. Come on. I have one fun little news and gossip that's kind of a personal story.
Ooh.
So I was getting my brows done in Santa Monica.
You do have fantastic brows,
always,
girl.
yeah, they're fabulous.
We're working on my left one. My right one's great. We're working on the left one. We've got a few little kinks to work out.
Really?
Hey, shout out Naomi. Shout out Naomi at Benefit Brows. So she said that she loves going to surf for her birthday. So I think it was last year, a couple years ago, she and all of her girlfriends were there, and her mom gave her a cash in her birthday card, and she accidentally left it on the she's like, we had wine, we were there for hours, I left this on the table accidentally, and Peter magical like ran it outside to her, like as she was outside waiting to get into her car. And
I can tell Peter's a good one.
That's so honest and sweet.
So sweet. Very
That's so
sweet.
sweet. Even though Vale's
Peter.
not a huge fan.
I know
Shout
that.
out Peter.
Talk about awkward.
Way to be a good guy, Peter.
Yes, Peter.
All right.
That's a cute little story. I like that.
That is really sweet.
And it's not like I read it anywhere. It was like from the horse's mouth.
That is a first-hand account, people. A story you are only going to hear here.
Right here on AFTERBUZZ. That's the only kind of... What am I trying to say?
Inside scoop you can get at AFTERBUZZ.
That's right.
Well, I also read the magazine article from Scheana's wedding that came out in August, and you can't find that on newsstands anymore, and I've got it right here. So let me tell you a little bit of details.
That's right.
The spoiler alert of what you'll see next week, 300 guests, a taco, enchilada, and whatever, fajita bar, in addition to the candy bar. It was like more like a buffet situation.
Okay.
We do see Kristen in the background in the photos, and there's some really cute pictures of Ariana and Pandora in their bridesmaid outfits.
Okay.
Apparently there was a ton of security there, and I think that was about all the dishy dish in there. We know that Scheana wore this gorgeous midriff top with her bridal gown that her aunt made for her, and she said it was very heavy. She had to keep pulling it up.
Did she have a nip slip?
You would think they would plan something like that.
I know,
wouldn't
right?
you?
Maybe
And
we'll see that next week.
Well, I wish that we would have seen more of this wedding planning with her and Mike.
Me too.
It
I
seems
love that
like
part.
they've shot a lot of it. We've seen a couple little blurbs. That's what I want to see. I mean, I would have
too.
watched a 6-week
Me
spinoff of
too.
them, right? Yeah.
I was like, where's the Scheana wedding episode? I want to see it all.
Well, so
I'm
let's
a
get
little
in.
disappointed about that.
Let's get into predictions and talk about the wedding next week.
Let's do it.
And now, your AFTERBUZZ TV predictions.
Okay. So it looks like maybe all of next week is the wedding, and maybe the next 2 weeks are
that
the
would be
wedding.
great.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah,
I mean,
I would love
at
to see
least
it.
I think all of next week is the wedding. Do you guys think?
Yes.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah,
and
they've gypped her out of all this other airtime. Show us this girl's wedding, please.
Yeah.
That's right.
And I'm surprised that Kristen did go, because she made a good point that if she makes a scene in front of her family and but she did, and I guess she behaved herself.
Well, I know that Scheana has admitted to having kind of like a little bit mildly a bridezilla day, because a lot of things were going wrong and she didn't really love her wedding planner and thought the wedding planner wasn't really doing enough for her and doing her job. So do we think that there's other drama that's going to go on next week, like with the cast members, other than just Scheana's drama?
I'm sure.
Yeah, well, I think that they've sort of kept Scheana back a little bit because you're maybe gonna get a lot of her now with the wedding actually being shown. So I hope it is just the wedding. And we know there'll be plenty of jibber jabber back and forth and plenty of issues with the cast anyway, just who's gonna sit where and the whole Carmen Jax thing. And apparently Kristen bumps her way right to the front of the line to try to catch that bouquet. God help us if Kristen gets engaged anytime soon. Right, but I think it'll be a Scheana-centric episode, and I can't wait.
I can't wait either. I love weddings.
Yeah,
Me
too.
a wedding.
A TV wedding is going to be a good time with this group of people. I mean,
right, and they're such a legit couple. Like, you know, they're real.
adorable.
They're not together for the reality cameras. We don't have to sit here and wonder if they're still together. Like, they're a legit couple. I feel like there's going to be some cute tearjerkery type moments where you're going to see some real emotion on this show. And
I think so, too.
Crazy
He's
drunk
adorable.
and screaming.
They were so cute at the candy shop. He's
they
like,
were. Oh, my God.
And I love that place. Oh, my God.
oh my God, I love Dylan's candy bar.
Oh, so good. I know I wanted to go there right after watching that. Yeah. Well, any other predictions from you, Miss Fern?
No, I think you covered it.
Yeah,
I'm
right?
going with those.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Let's see this $100,000 wedding, people.
I'm ready. I'm so ready. Okay, I'm going to predict one thing. I'm going to say there'll be some kind of like Jack's crazy snafu like drama
with Carmen.
Yeah, it's got like he'll probably be like hitting on a bridesmaid or hitting on another girl and
hitting on an aunt.
Carmen will go crying in the bathroom and like Ariana will have to pull her out. I don't know.
Think?
That's my prediction for the week.
It could happen.
I'm kind of getting better at this. I feel like Stassi is really gone, and that was my prediction last week.
Well, I wonder
was gone
if
for good.
Carmen will sort of elbow her way onto this now. I mean, she's a student. Does she need a job? Does she want to go work at SUR? She might be too just smart and reasonable overall for this cast.
That's a good point.
But
Well,
Too smart for
we'll
SUR.
see if she spends the night next week.
Stay tuned. All right, guys, we'll be back next week for Scheana's big wedding. Thanks for joining us. Fern, where can we find you on Twitter one more time?
You can find me at Fern Ronay.
And Christy.
And tweet me at Christy Report.
And you guys can tweet me or comment on Instagram with me at Megan Stecher. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.